Hello, my name is Christopher Hale, and I am Freedom's Witness. So today I'm continuing making these videos and been sharing some of my material from the written blogs that are not videos yet. And this I am doing today is going to be a excerpt from my new book coming out called Disfellowshipped, Force, Exile, and Liberation. So here we go. Normally, I am not a fan of exposing the intimate problems of one's family or relationships on social media outlets. However, my current relationship with my father and mother demands a public outreach. As a shunned, disfellowshipped, and previous member of the Jehovah's Witness religion, an organization widely recognized as a cult, I am forbidden from having any relationship or conversations with any other believing members, which includes most of my family members. The reasons for my being shunned or disfellowshipped by this religion are not important here except to say that it was quite possibly the best thing that could have happened to me, for now I am able to see what so many inside the organization are unable. The lies. No matter what source you use, the roles of fathers can be clearly defined. Even in the animal kingdom, the role of fathers is very clear. They are there to provide, lead, and support. It's really quite that simple. Yet in these three words lies a great amount of complication. From the moment a child is born, the role of a father becomes significant. While in the initial phases of life, that child may not even recognize the man in the room, but soon there will become a time when that father's role will become the most significant in that child's life, without respect to it being male or female. I too am a father, and I can say that with great confidence that being a father is the hardest job one could imagine and should not be undertaken without proper knowledge and preparation. I was certainly not prepared for it. In fact, making the decision to have a child was not born from some deep consultative decision-making process. It was just decided in a moment without much thought, in a moment when I thought that I would be a much better father than mine had been to me. Giving little thought to the level of preparedness I needed, my first son was born not really realizing much more is required than just deciding to be a better father than what I had growing up. From the outside looking in, my father was a great man. So said many. He was a particularly handsome guy, held a steady job. We lived in a decent neighborhood, and I don't ever recall any utilities being turned off or there not being enough food to eat. My dad went to work each and every day, worked hard, and it seemed as if we took vacations every year. There were things I noticed when I was in those early days, when I was ranging in age from 8 to 14 years. I knew that my mom and dad had some problems, and that he sometimes drank too much, and that there were late night excursions to some local bar where he would flirt with those fairly unattractive women. I knew things were a little off when he would come home in the middle of the night smelling like beer and stale cigarettes, wake me up and make me talk to him about little guy stuff. He was gone a lot during the week and often came home late at night, or sometimes he worked nights. We didn't really care that much because he always made it up to us on Friday nights with pizza and scary late night television shows. Saturday morning would continue the fun, as we would sometimes watch cartoons with us and clown around acting out roles as Superman, Batman, or sometimes even Wonder Woman. But I knew my dad had some issues. He was a man to be feared, especially with that belt in his hand. But he was, for all his faults, a fun dad. But all of that was about to change as if overnight. My mother had been, since I was born, raising my sister and I as Jehovah's Witnesses. It wasn't all bad. We had friends, participated in some school activities, and had generally happy experiences. Even knocking on doors and giving presentations wasn't all that bad, and I would dare say that we may have liked it just a little bit. It was kind of fun. We got ice cream and lunch at McDonald's. What could be better? At the time, we thought that our little paradise could only get better if our beer drinking, cigarette smoking, pussy hunting father would become a witness. Oh, how great our lives would be. So it was then that I, the most influential of the children, began a relentless campaign to get my father to come to the side of the truth. What a mistake that would turn out to be. Before I continue, you may recall that at the beginning of this article, I spoke about my unwillingness to air my family's dirty laundry on social media. Why do so now? To put it bluntly, it's to get their attention. There have been years of unresolved issues between my father and I that he is unwilling to address. My being disfellowshipped gives him a thick veil with which to hide behind. He has created a public persona based on a lie that vilifies me and gives no regard to my feelings or the things that I had to deal with under his iron-fisted monarchic rule. Things that in this day and time can be repaired through some simple conversations and an apology. This is an open letter, an acknowledgement that his public persona is false, and herein lies an opportunity to leave a legacy different than the one I remember when his days are long past. As odd as this may seem, I do not remember his baptism as well as I can remember all the physical abuses that came as a result of me not wanting to conform to all the ridiculous demands of a Jehovah's Witness father, hell-bent on making his already well-mannered family into Watchtower Society robots. I vividly recall the announcement at the Kingdom Hall welcoming a new brother to the congregation, my father. I was proud because I thought I had saved his life, but in reality I had made great strides towards destroying my own. He became very popular very quickly, a good speaker and with a charisma I had not seen before in my dad. People in the congregation looked up to him, and very soon many were leaning upon him for his sage advice and his ability to apply scriptures to their situations. It was kind of cool having a father that was always being called on to offer prayer and to give talks on the platform, often delivering some of the lighter special needs programs. I looked up to him and wanted to make sure I did nothing to make him look bad. Then he became an elder. Becoming an elder was like reaching celebrity status. You now have a following. You have ones that will now hang on to every word or piece of advice you offer. Being appointed to serve as an elder is akin to being promoted on your job. New title gives you a new air of respectability. You are somebody now. You can make decisions, and you now have the right to make declarations and make demands on people without anyone really challenging you, at least not in public. You are an elder now. God has given you the authority to execute his commandments upon others and to carry out his orders, knowing the most will be followed without question. A solid prescription for success in the Watchtower organization is to follow without question. I never figured my father to be one of those types, but in retrospect, I now see that he was. He put his thinking on hold in order to succeed and to be a somebody, to be an elder, to have followers. He wanted to be the chief administrator of the robot army. One of the requirements for being an elder and maintaining that status was that your family had to act in lockstep. They had to show that the robotic indoctrination had taken hold. My dad, the just appointed elder, together with his newly christened authority, thought he could practice and perfect the robotic indoctrination techniques on his family. He was wrong. My mother would constantly remind him that although he was the head of the family, she was the neck that turned the head. What she meant was that he was not meant to make all the decisions about the family's future. She was to be consulted. But because my father's eldership relied heavily on how his family was perceived by others in the congregation, in order to protect his position of authority and the perception he carried amongst members of the congregation, he became a tyrant. While my father's tyranny had a negative effect on all members of the family, I would for many years suffer physical and emotional abuse far worse than anything inflicted upon my siblings. And with that, I will prepare to go to the next piece I want to share with you. My name is Christopher Hale, and I am Freedom's Witness.